Hello, my crafty friends. It's Marie from Marie's Vermont Creations, and here is my second Halloween card for this year. I was inspired by Dawn from W+9 and Amy R from Prairie Paper and Ink. They recently used this lovely layers from Honeybee the Rose, and I decided to cut mine out of some scrap purple cardstock, and I'm just taking my black soot distress ink and an ink blender and just kind of slapping some color on here. I know Dawn took some much more time to add depth to hers. I'm just kind of adding it in to give them that Halloween kind of spooky look. So I'm just doing this to all of the layers, and then I will get the next one. I finally figured out here that I should probably do them in order so that I can see if I missed any spots, because there's only certain sections of these, you know, each layer that show with the next one over it. So that's what I'm doing. I'm lining them up so I can see if I covered everything. I missed a little spot there. So I'm just going to go through and add some ink to all of these. I don't show you the inking of everything. I did basically the same for the petals and the bud and also all of the leaves. So I took some of it out because it was very repetitive, but it's definitely, you could do this in a multitude of colors. But now that I have all of my black soot on there and it really changes the cardstock, I'm just going to adhere the layers together. And for this particular lovely layers, I like to just glue at the base of it so that if I want to pull some of the petals forward, it gives it some dimension without even adding any foam tape. But you could definitely adhere them completely down if you wanted to. And for this one, they're very easy, and you get the layering guide that I showed in the beginning, and I'm just following that for which layer comes next. And I line these up at the bottom because they have the same kind of cutout at the bottom, so it makes it easier for me to line them up that way. So I'm just going through and I will glue together the full blossom. I did one of those and I did one of the small buds. And I think when I adhere the bud together, I honestly think I ink blended the wrong side of one of these, but it still worked. I put it together, and you know, I don't think you can tell, but I after I glued it, I was like, I don't think I maybe did that one quite correctly. But so I've been thinking about this project. Absolutely love this idea. You could do a whole bouquet of them, but I opted to just do the one with the bud and then the greenery. And these are very easy to put together. Trust me, if I can put them together, anybody can put them together. Honeybee makes it really easy by adding the guide so that you can follow along and, you know, put them in the correct order. But they're pretty self-explanatory. Usually they go from largest to smallest as you build them up. So this is the bud that I'm just putting together. It's just a couple of pieces, and then you add the green piece to the front, which covers up any imperfections. If you didn't glue it quite straight, that will draw your eye away from it. And then you have the leaves that go on top of the big stem that I have cut in the upper right hand corner. But before I get to the leaves, I'm going to take and put this on a paper towel, and I have some shimmer spray that I've made using some Perfect Pearls and some water, and I'm just going to mist it on here to give it some shimmer, which I absolutely love. So I did that to just the floral pieces, and now I'm going to add the extra greenery to the top of this stem piece because it gives it a little dimension. Again, you could use foam tape and put these on here. You could skip this step altogether if you wanted to just have it be the flat stem, but I wanted to add all of the pieces. And then once I get that done, I took a panel from my stash. I have a huge bucket of different backgrounds that I have created over the years that I just kind of hoard. It's a good tip if you're in a slump and you're just needing a way to get back into crafting. It's just to create some backgrounds. The trouble is I just tend to hoard mine, but I did dig this one out. It's on some watercolor paper, and I just used some spray from my stash. It's just a purple spray. And so I had that here, and I decided to take the black soot distress ink and just ink around the entire perimeter of this panel to give it that same grungy Halloween look, just to kind of tie in the flower with the background. And it honestly matches quite nicely, and I don't even remember what product I used to spray on here, but I thought they went well together. Now this is just a paper doily from my stash. It's a spider web that is from my Stampin' Up! Days, so that's how long I have, I had a huge package of these, so I am still working my way through them. So I'm just using some wet glue to adhere this to the corner. I use a paper towel just to keep my hands from getting all glue because it does seep through some of the openings. And this one particular little web had, the end of it had curled all up, so I'm just straightening that out. Gonna put a little dab of glue there and flatten it back out. And then I will take the long scissors that I have and just trim off all of the excess that's around here. And you could save this and use it for another project because there's plenty there to adhere to another corner like I have. And then I'm gonna put the stem down with my liquid glue and then add the bud underneath it before that glue has a time to set. I tuck it under a little bit, and then I will add the bud to the top. I opted to not put a sentiment on this card because I didn't want to add anything else to the front and take away from the flower or the background. So I may just write a personal message on the inside or stamp a message on the inside when I decide, you know, who I want to give this to. And so I didn't have any heavyweight black cardstock, so I decided to take a white card base and just take a thin piece of black, cardstock, and I'm just going to adhere it straight to this panel and then use my liquid glue to adhere my decorated panel right to this card. And this is an A2 size card. And then off camera, I did end up trimming the extra little white edges that you could see so that all of the front is just black. So that's my second Halloween project for today. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or projects you'd like to see, leave me a comment down below. As always, I hope that you have a great day.